for divided government to have this sort of emulative effect, right, this sort of healing effect where the parties come together, that two other factors have to be in place, and that we don't have either of them, or it doesn't seem like it. First, there needs to be some evidence of a bipartisan political center, right? We can't have parties polarized along ideological and political partisan lines and expect the parties to come to the center, right? That ideological polarization pushes the parties apart on policy terms, and that partisan polarization, right, injects this sort of partisan team play into the recipe in congressional policymaking, so that even if there was middle ground in policy, there's this political incentive to disagree with one another. Right? So I don't really see much policy grounds on which to bring the parties together, and there doesn't seem to be much electoral incentive for the parties to come together, particularly in this period of high polarization. So first, I don't see the sort of the partisanship, the polarization diminish enough to encourage by policymaking in divided government. Second, the other factor I think we lose sight of is the sort of the element of bipartisan or bicameral agreement. That the House and Senate sometimes can be quite close in policy terms, and that makes a difference in whether or not you get stalemate or get more productive Congresses. Close chambers ideologically find ways of agreeing with one another, but ideologically divergent chambers tend to exacerbate gridlock. A Republican House and a Democratic Senate is hardly a recipe for cooperation. Right? Just think about House-Senate relations under Democratic Congresses that we just finished. Right, this whole issue of this mistrust over health care reform, right? The House didn't trust the Senate didn't trust the House. We ran up in all these arguments about reconciliation and sidecars and fixes, right? Why? Because the two sides were not quite aligned in policy terms enough, even a period of unified party control to make it work. It took quite a bit to get health care happen in the end.